Okay, good morning, kings and queens. How you doing today? Welcome to the market open. We're here to talk about the new ways of money and I guess just the stock market open and stuff. As you can see, I always have the crypto stuff open whenever I do start up. I am slowly getting back into stock stuff again, so that will be what is more, or that's more of what will be going on in the mornings once I do get the hang of all that stuff, because it is market open. I think I'm going to be hanging out by myself for the most part today. Did not get any confirmations of being joined in the video, but that's quite all right. I'm just going to quickly send out my links, get my links all sent out, and then we will be on our way. My volume's turned down, so I'm not repeating this because I should have some background noise going right now. Where's my jazz station? All right. Sending out my link real quick for the YouTubes, and then I will be going over some stuff before the market opens. Market opens at 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. Welcome to the market open. And like I mentioned before, I do talk primarily crypto right now at market open, but we go over the actual market itself as well. I will be going over some stock stuff today, getting more and more into that. Primarily, I do deal with crypto, but I'm slowly getting back into stocks. That is where I started, so I'd like to get back into that. But obviously, there's a lot of news that's going on, not just because of COVID, but in general. So keeping up with that takes some time. Links sent, and then I will also post my Discord link in the what's that called? In the chat. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. One of my little rants today will be about managing your risk in investing, and then we will also go over Elon Musk and his selling of all of his, well, not all, but his selling some shares and options. And we'll also talk about hedging. Maybe I'll talk about the metaverse again a little bit. And we'll go from there. I mentioned this before, my primary reason for starting this channel is kind of just because I wanted to soundboard myself, and not only that, I want to be able to have a little bit of documentation of what this all looks like when it first happened, for when my family, like my nieces and future kids and all that, do grow up and whatnot. So, doing lives right now, Mondays and Fridays. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at Market Open. I'll be doing a live starting next week on Thursday evenings. Thursday evenings will be focused solely around crypto. It'll be more deep dive. So like how the other day I went into the metaverse during this morning live stream, I'll be really going into some stuff on the Thursday evening live stream. So looking forward to doing those. And then when I do get some time to get some editing done, then I will be also posting some videos, 10 to 15 minute, maybe 5-minute videos of the basics and intros to crypto and investing in general. So that way, if you have any questions, or if you have friends who have any questions who are just getting into stuff like this, you can just send them a quick video. That way you don't have to worry about explaining it to them for an hour, hour and a half, like I do with a lot of people, which I'm quite happy with. So, but that's what we're here for. We're here to help people learn, how to actually make a living nowadays. Oh, am I stuck in this loop again? Darn it. Oh, well. Okay, talking about something different. That's all right. Okay. We got 9 minutes until market open. It's exciting. Okay, looks like I have a few people in here. Welcome again. I appreciate you guys hanging out. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. If you're just here to hang out and just listen to me ramble on about stocks, crypto, and investing and alt investing and stuff like that, feel free to hang out, buckle in. We'll be here for a little bit. I don't want to say buckle in. A lot of people say buckle in. And then like strap in, strap on, and all that other stuff. I want my own stuff. I want to be different. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's look over in the stocks, see if that page is loaded. Okay, page has loaded. Is there anything in particular that you guys want to be looking at before the market opens? Inflation, yeah, I wanted to see. That just came out 20 minutes ago. Okay, after I did my researches. Because I do want to see what's going on with inflation. It's definitely not as managed as they say it is, in my opinion, and possibly fact. Sips coffee because it's none of my business. Okay, so just going over the crypto markets real quick. Just see what some cryptos are doing. ETH is still holding pretty darn strong. For the rest of the market dropping the way it has, Ethereum has been holding pretty well. That's good. Bitcoin dominance, it looks like it's down like another maybe 0.5 to 1% the last day or two. ETH is really starting to chunk away at it. ETH might flip Bitcoin for dominance. That's crazy. That's just mind-blowing to think about. That's how much money and how much is being built on Ethereum right now. Right, let's look at Webull. I did buy a few shares of, I think, UEC yesterday. Like I said, I don't really care about showing this account. I actually think it's kind of funny at this point to have this account. I left I think it was like $30 in there. Dropped, obviously, a little bit. And yeah, so I figured I'll just buy and I'll share this account live, and this will be the one that, we kind of see what's going on and starting from almost nothing. Yeah, I think it's like $28 or $26, something like that. Let's see, where are the markets? This one? Yep, there we go. Starting to learn Webull now that I'm doing these videos more and more. I usually use TD Ameritrade as my primary, but don't want to share that account on here, at least not yet. Not because of financials or anything. Honestly, it's just my computer won't keep up with it. If I tried running my TD Ameritrade account on this laptop along with the live stream and Webull and the other pages I already have up, it would certainly not work. All right, we have about 3 minutes until market open. By the time you hear me say that, it's probably 2 minutes. Berkshire Hathaway, consumer goods is leading the way in the aftermarket. Pharmacy, after that, healthcare. Yeah, tech usually jumps up to the top when the market actually opens. Welcome again if you are watching. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, please leave it in the chat and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. And we're just waiting for the market to open right now. Ooh, excuse me. Ooh. That looks like I'm down from my buy. Let's see. Does that reflect on here also? So you can even see that it's slowing down a little bit. A little bit. Alright, I'm not in charge point. Let's see. Good positions. Should only show one. Yep, and I'm down a penny on every share, it looks like. And you can see I have my sell. That's just in case. I have it good till, I think it's extended. I don't know when I have it until, honestly. But that's where it is. They didn't really have much more to say. Just had it on. See what else is going on. Screener. I don't have any screeners set up. let's just open it up. Open it up. All right. It's everybody. Top percentage gainers in the aftermarket because market's not open yet for another minute and a half or so. Bear with me as my dyslexia takes me a second to kind of pick up on things, but once I get going, I'm usually pretty okay. And I also don't recognize a lot of these. Michael's got a lot of research to do. If you guys have any cryptos that you've been looking at or stocks that you've been looking at lately, drop them in the chat. I'd be very interested. If you're watching this after it's already been played, drop them in the comments. I'd be very interested to see what you've been seeing. And I just realized I'm kind of just scrolling and not really reading these right now. There we go. Now we're back in it. Okay. Yeah, nothing that I recognize off the bat. And I'll get into anything else after that. CBS. I recognize that one. Up 4%. They just had to sell a lot of stores, didn't they? Shut down a lot of stores. Can't remember what it was. Smash marketplaces. I mean, hey, there you go. There's some quick news for you on CBS. And oh, these are all 19, 20 hours. That's why. I think when I read that, it was like a day or two ago. Not seeing anything about that. Let's go to markets so we can see what's what when the market opens. Ease Lululemon, DJ Lululemon price target raised. Wow. Lululemon is a crusher in the fitness industry. Rising inflation keeps pressure on Fed. Let me see what this breaks down to, because I'm kind of interested. If you guys see anything about inflation, drop it in the chat. I think, are new numbers supposed to come out? Is that what it is? Because I keep seeing something about inflation. Something's supposed to come out today. Consumer price in November rose 6.8% from a year earlier. There we go, market's open. And dog's awake. Yeah, so you'll see in the background the market kind of start shifting around. Just read through this real quick. Wow, yeah. Used cars and what did it say? Used cars and what else? Or is that just used cars? Away from sharp. Cars and truck prices, yeah. Unemployment rate that has dropped below 4% with inflation run well above 2%. Okay. Yeah, they're not telling me any hard numbers that I really want to see. How do I exit out of this? Okay. Click anywhere. All right, cool. Markets, come on, start switching around for me. There we go. Semiconductors is the one that jumped up this time to the front. I think that has been the case the last few times that I've seen or been on the lives. Semiconductors has been the one that jumped to the top. I really need to look into more of these companies. Obviously, semiconductors are in pretty much everything, but there you go. There's market open. We're looking pretty green in the top charts of the market. Integrated hardware, renewable energy. Ooh, let's see renewable energy. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into these. I don't recognize many of these. Uranium, UEC, is that down? Oh, we're down. Okay, we're down a little bit. That's fine. Water is another thing I'm going to be looking into again. This one was pretty interesting. I just looked into it the other day just a little bit. Had 200 years of running dividends. It's pretty phenomenal. Pretty phenomenal. 200 years of running dividends. I mean, can you imagine that? Not missing a dividend 1 year at all. All right, let's go to the news I have open. All right, so yeah, let's start with this. Why not? I just got a few things today because more than anything, I was Googling some stuff. I wanted to look at these charts. As I'm getting into the flow of these live streams, they're going to break down into a lot of smaller videos too. So some of these topics you'll hear me repeat in smaller videos, but I wanted to go over these topics. So I just kind of typed into Google to remind me to talk about them. And then if you want to just drop comments into the chat as we're going, feel free to drop the comments. And yeah, the next couple of weeks or so, these will be bitten down into like 5-10 minute videos. The how-tos, I should say, or these little advisory, not advice things. By the way, anything you see on this channel is not financial advice. It's for entertainment, education purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. If you want to learn anything, go talk to someone who actually knows what they're talking about. So central banks versus DeFi. Very short and sweet to the point is central banks are feeling threatened. Not a surprise. I think all of us knew that was coming. Central banks have the biggest Ponzi scheme, or are the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world, especially since they've been taken off of any kind of standard. I mean, even if they were put onto some kind of like Bitcoin standard. I mean, come on, like we're not covered or backed by anything anymore. It's just people saying, oh, this is what it's worth, and then they want to go and print out more and more money, and then say that DeFi is a threat. So effectively, what this article is saying, before I just start going on to rants, because I noticed that's why I only have 3 articles up. I noticed I ran. Effectively, what they're saying is there are these, who was it? Augustin Karsten, who is like, okay. Anyway, basically, these guys are like they're defending the central banks as far as trying to keep all that stuff in order. Basically, the cahoots going. They're trying to say that DeFi is illusionary, that they don't really show that it's decentralized. Obviously, we can see which ones are decentralized and which ones are centralized based on the blockchain. Sure, maybe there's some gray areas. Maybe some of those nodes are, the same person, same company, same entity. Of course, that's going to happen. But you can kind of catch wind of when things like that are going on. But what they're saying here is that DeFi is not decentralized. It is illusionary. That's kind of funny. People from the central bank saying that DeFi is illusionary. And then that the rug pulls kind of like, where does it say? Does it say something about, yeah, oh, yeah, it says Snow Dogs right here. Snow Dogs was one. Snow Dog was a rug pull, and Squid Game was another rug pull. This is probably the one you guys heard more about, or just mainstream has heard more about. Squid Games was a coin that went to, I think it was like 2,000 or 2,600, maybe even 6,000. I can't remember exactly. And then it went down to like nothing. Literally was a rug pull, I believe. Snow Dogs, this was an accident/rug pull. Involuntary, whatever you want to call it. But this was on Avalanche, unfortunately. They're trying to do right by their people and their holders to make sure that they get reimbursed in a sense. So they're trying to build up the project to make sure that it doesn't completely fall apart. But anyway, because of those rug pulls, the central bank's trying to say that DeFi is not really decentralized. Fair enough, if you want to compare it to two things or a couple of things, and they're not even the biggest projects. Like if you want to compare it to Bitcoin, that's a different story. But effectively, what they're trying to say here, or after saying anything about a rug pull, I mean, it blows my mind, because then when you start looking at what they're saying here, the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank for America, if you don't know this, the Federal Reserve is not a federally owned company. It is not a government-owned company. It is a private company. It's crazy. When I first heard that, it blew my mind. But anyway, the Federal Reserve, again, private entity, has refused to be audited by our congressional entities. So a private company, the Federal Reserve, has refused to be audited. Could you imagine if you refused to be audited? I don't think the government would like that too much. And this is just entertaining because look at this chart. Okay, so here's 2009 when they did their bailout in 2009. Okay, that's that bump up right there. And if you look at the legend up here, you see it says Federal Reserve. That's like the light pink. That's the bottom one right here, that like pinkish tan looking color. So that bump up right there is when the Fed influxed a bunch of money. They kept injecting money, Then what was it? Quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, easing. I forget what they called it, but basically that started happening. So you could see that it started to taper down a little bit, and then 2020 happened, and then they were like quantitative easing is what it was called. That's when they're giving you the money. Quantitative tightening is when they're taking the money back away. And then you can see they're doing it again. They're giving it away just a little bit before 2019. And people saw this, and that's why a lot of people were trying to call that another crash was going to happen, because people saw that little bump up. And then, of course, 2020 in March, or not March, I think it was like June or something, but they just blew up that printer. I mean, it's still going. Not as hard as before, but it's still going. And you can see other countries are still going too. They're just astronomical. And what they're saying is, or what this says here is, the reckless expansion of trillions of dollars in credit is even worse in light of the fact that they regularly cannot account for where the money has gone. So the Federal Reserve, the people who put zeros at the end of our national dollar cap, regularly can't tell you where they're putting their money. It's blowing my mind. And they're trying to say that DeFi is not decentralized and that they could do rug pulls. The Federal Reserve could do a rug pull on us if they really wanted to. So, anyway, yeah, I'm starting to rant again, but effectively, F these guys, okay? That's what it ended with. It's just ridiculous. Like, they're trying to tell us to, so this is another thing they were saying here is don't worry about, or be worried about DeFi. We're concerned about the investors' money and their well-being. So we're trying to put out this news and trying to attack DeFi because we want to make sure that you guys are taken care of. Like us, the normal people, are taken care of. That's what they're trying to say here. The biggest Ponzi scheme in the world is trying to say that they're concerned about our well-being. Mind you, if we get on board with DeFi, it's hurting their pockets. So they're just trying to keep us in their pocket, or keep their hands in our pockets effectively. Which, a story I'm not going over today, just because I really don't like Facebook, and I didn't want to get too much into it for my own mental health, but Facebook, WhatsApp, all that stuff, their digital wallet could be becoming very big globally. Could be becoming very big globally in the next, I'd say 6 months to a year. So it was explained. I was watching Palm's podcast yesterday, and he explained it pretty well. I think I kind of forgot that WhatsApp is not used in the U.S. as much as other places, but with my family kind of going in and out of the U.S. here and there, and some friends, and with work, I constantly got used to using WhatsApp. But a lot of Americans don't realize the power of WhatsApp. Everybody outside of the U.S., well, I won't say everybody, but a vast majority, a lot of people outside of the U.S. are using WhatsApp because of not needing a courier. As long as you have Wi-Fi, you can communicate with someone who has WhatsApp. And it's a good app. I like it. But they're also, I believe, owned by Facebook, if I'm not mistaken, which makes them now owned by Meta, and they're trying to make it so that you can pass crypto through WhatsApp, and that would mean effectively that Facebook's in your pocket. I think so. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so back to here. Guide to crypto, guide to Austin. So basically, all this is saying, I'll make sure short, sweet, to the point, because I know I ranted a little bit on that last one. This is saying how crypto, even though regulation in Texas can be tight in crypto, Austin as a focus point is pretty bullish on crypto. So I'm a part of a group that is mentioned in here. The guy who started the group, the head of the group, this is what he was saying here. But oh yeah, so he was just saying that it's just like crypto in general is a challenge to the financial system. So the Austin as a focus group, it was very big for tech in general, and is still very big for tech in general. And it's got a lot of inflow from the last few years because of that. And of course, it's known because of UT, also the college. But even though that BlockFi and Celsius was attacked here in Austin or Texas recently, it's still very bullish around here. You got Greg Abbott posting saying that he wants to be like, who is it, Missouri, I think it was, or Mississippi? Wyoming, there it is. Wyoming, to get crypto law proposals, going here, because he's bullish on it. HEB has accepted or brought crypto ATMs, Bitcoin ATMs into their places. Of course, we got South by here and ACL also, which is a big music festival. And there are other crypto festivals here too. And I didn't even know this, but the guy who's leading the group, again, his name is Paul. I just started tuning in to the group. It's a virtual group. I just started last week, 2 weeks ago or so. Pretty cool group. Definitely a lot of information being passed around there that could help you. I think when it comes to crypto, community in crypto is one of the best things to make sure that you are trying to network in a sense as much as you can, because with crypto being as Tesla's under 1,000, 992 for Tesla right now. Anyway, just caught that out of the corner of my eye. When you're learning things in crypto, it's sometimes hard to put the pieces together. So it's good to have a community around you of other people who are in crypto, because then you can kind of piece things together a little bit easier. They can fill in the gaps for you, and you can fill in the gaps for other people also. That's honestly why I started this YouTube channel, or these YouTube lives. I'm hoping that as I'm doing this research, I can fill in some gaps for myself of knowledge and active, like functionality of crypto, and also in these searches, hopefully helping you guys learn too. Because I've been spending the last 2 years in crypto, which isn't that long, but in the crypto space, it's a long time. So I know how long it took me to learn the basics of this stuff. It was a lot. So like the 5-10 minute videos that I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be making, some of that stuff took me months to learn, because there wasn't anyone to be like, oh, this is how you do it. I mean, of course, I had a few people who were in crypto, but they're like actually in crypto, like doing real stuff, and I'm just sitting here learning. So as a novice, it was hard. I didn't have anyone to step by step tell me how certain things were done for the minutia, and the YouTube videos kind of miss some of these things. So hopefully, I'll help fill in some of those gaps as well. But anyway, you got. Another reason that Texas is a hub is you got Riot Blockchain here, which is a stock, or I should say mining company. You can trade it as a stock, though. RIOT is the ticker. BitDeer Group, BlockCap, Layer 1 Technologies, Argo, they're all here in Texas. So it's showing more bullish than not. And then, of course, you got Factum, Multicoin Capital, Horizon Labs, Titan. They're all here in Austin as well. I didn't even know. Oh, I guess I read that, but I didn't connect what Titan was when I read that. So that's pretty cool. They're all here in Austin too. This is just saying how it's bullish for Austin specifically, that they're getting more and more involved in crypto. They do have a coin, like Miami Coin. They're one of the other few that has their own coin. I'm trying to remember everything else that was said in here. Some of it just didn't matter to me. I mean, maybe it matters to you guys. I apologize for that. But some of it, when I say it doesn't matter to me, it's just some of it is more just rambling so that they can fill out these documents. But yeah, I mean, you got some places here that'll accept crypto. There's a few, but most of them are going to be through third-party apps. That's why I was saying, like, some of these things, it's just like, yeah, places accept crypto, but it's still, you got to learn how to use the minutia of the crypto in order to actually use it. Yeah, they're talking about how you got the different colleges here, and that's why it could be booming, because people will be learning. You got this called, what do they call it now? Silicon Hills is what Austin is called now. And then, of course, you got people who are moving down here and have been down here. So it's just kind of saying why Austin is a good bullish place to be if you're in crypto. Let's see. Before I go on to that real quick, I'm not gonna speak on that one too long. Oh, I lost my controls. There we are. And let's see. Am I catching any of these chats? Are there any chats? I forgot how I have it set up because I was getting someone spamming. So I'm hoping that I'm not missing chats or anything. So if you guys have commented in the chat and I haven't seen it, I am still going through the learning process of holding these live streams, and I did have to put on a setting to block some chats because I was getting like these porn things. We don't need none of that. So, all right, I'm going to keep going on anyway. I apologize for that little sidetracked. Yes. Okay, let's see. Stocks. See my watch lists and some other stuff. CVS looks like it's doing good. Actually, yeah. You know what? Let's look at Riot since I just mentioned that. So Riot is a mining company. 2617. I think my average is around there right now. But they got up to like 30s. I think even like 50s at one point. Was it? I can't remember. But they got up there. Yeah. Yeah, they got up to the 50s in December, looks like. So I like Riot. I'm a fan of any stock that you can kind of track crypto with. But, you know, of course, do your research first, because anytime that crypto takes a hit, as you can see, mining companies and crypto companies tend to take a hit too. So this one's probably going to be down also. Let's see. Yep. Chart looks almost the same. I don't think I'm following these yet. Let me get these in my chart. My watch list. Anyone know MicroStrategy's ticker? What's MicroStrategy's ticker? Can I look at that one? Yes. All right. Again, chart's about the same. Reason this one's up, though, is because he just recently bought a lot more Bitcoin. Some people, when things like that happen, you'll see a lot of selling or buying, or let's just say a lot of volatility. Looks like the volatility was pretty down because of that, or yesterday. I shouldn't say because of that, but down yesterday, or at least in market out overnight. You know what I'm saying. But again, you can see how this looks kind of like Mara and Riot, and it's because he kind of tracks the Bitcoin price at this point. See Tesla, 988. Man, Tesla is going down. All right, you know what? This has to do with what I'm about to talk about next. So let me open that up. So effectively, was it last month? Yeah, last month Elon Musk posted on Twitter and said, hey, or should I sell some of my stocks to pay taxes for unrealized capital gains? I don't believe that bill was passed, but they were basically saying, I think it was Joe Biden was saying, billionaires or people in general should pay tax on their unrealized capital gains, which is ridiculous. That's a lot of paperwork. But anyway, so Elon Musk, he put up a poll. The poll responded, yes, sell your stuff, and he started selling. But that's not the only reason he's selling right now, too. Oh, excuse me. He had some options that were received from a grant in 2012 that were due to expire in mid 2022. So he has a short period of time before he can really flex his use of them, and that looks like it's what he's doing. So he's selling a chunk of these options, along with selling a chunk of shares too, or also. But you can see $11 billion is what more than $11 billion is how much he's sold. So the article is only really saying how much he sold, the reasonings about the poll, and that investors are hoping that he just stops selling. They would have liked him to do it in one sale. But, I mean, honestly, he's a person. This is how I think this is how the market should be. Things are going to happen. It is what it is. Whether one person moves it, whether an entity moves it, whether a lot of people move it, we can hope and dream and should all we want, but we're going to end up being shitting all over ourselves. Oh, my body. All right, looks like UEC is dropping a little bit more. Not cutting out. I believe in uranium. ChargePoint made $1 on this the other day, so that was nice. Let's see, Ford, we're at $20.13. Oh, that could be making a bullish flag. That looks like it's the start of a bullish flag pattern. Do I have VWAP on? I do. Okay, cool. Companies return to the office, plans to admit. Oh, yeah, so the Americron, hopefully that's not as bad as people are saying it is, has more road ahead of it, remains bullish. Cool. Spucks. You see, I'm not going to start shitting on myself. But I will say, when I bought some of these stocks last year, should have held. And I didn't sell because I didn't believe in them. I sold because I sold for profit, and I wanted to get out of Robinhood. But by the time I got, and I didn't have enough, nor did I want to pay to transfer from one account to another. That just didn't make sense to me. I guess I had enough. I just didn't want to do it. But by the time I sold Robinhood, sold everything in Robinhood, got everything out, and then moved all that into my TD account, the stocks that I was holding were up more than I was willing to really pay for them, and I never got back in. So lost about 100% on a couple of these stocks. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. I made money. So I should say you win some more. That's what I like to say. This is kind of what's going on with some of the things that I'm looking at. Now, again, don't take any of this for like I'm actually buying. Some of this I'm just kind of doing research on as I'm getting more and more into the stocks again. This one I'm buying. I like precious metals. I like rare earths. This one I was watching at $1.29. This is the one that in my Webull account specifically, I was thinking about buying this or a silver company. Silver company lost me money. This one has gone up 600%. What else? But if you're watching right now and you like everything you've heard so far, I'd appreciate it if you were able to give me a like, subscribe if you're not already, drop a comment if you want. And if you want to support this channel, a couple ways to do it, other than the algorithm, is I have some referral links down below. So a couple of easy on-ramps for crypto. Crypto.com is one. Matt Damon just made a commercial recently. They just bought naming rights to the Staples Center. So that one's down below. You got Coinbase. Almost everyone knows about Coinbase. They're actually publicly traded now. Let's look at them for a hot second. I haven't checked in on them for a while. I'm not going to say I don't. Yeah, they don't. They're not tracking. Oh wait, actually, I'm in a different type of chart. Let's see. Yep, looks pretty similar to the other ones. I guess I should make a stock or a watch list for crypto trackers. So yeah, Coinbase. Let's see. Day will it show me the whole year in a quick span? Should. Yeah, so they were at 420. They got up there and they dropped down. So okay, so they're about half, maybe maybe a third, and they're about a third off of their all-time high. But I mean, they're one of the first custodial wallets exchanges for crypto, so they're not going anywhere, in my opinion. BlockFi is another one. Do your own research on all of these, but links in the description for my referrals are for all of them. This one, if you lock away, I think like $600 worth of CRO, which I'm very bullish on that token. You get 2% back with the card that they give you, and I think you get $25 and I get $25 with this one. Your first $100 deposit, we both get $10. BlockFi, I think it's the same thing. I think with your first $100 deposit, we both get $10. Some of these are in Bitcoin, some of these are in CRO. They're native coin. I do want to talk about CRO or Crypto.com real quick. Their token is CRO, which you probably just heard me say like 8 times. But I'm very bullish on them. A lot of what they're doing right now is in likeness of Binance when they before they blew up. So Binance, I remember that when it was at like $1, $2, then $17, $20, $100, and a lot of what Crypto.com is doing. Here we are. A lot of what CRO is doing right now is like Binance. They're marketing, they're advertising, they're onboarding, they're just branching out. So they're getting into NFTs now as well. So their token went from 13 cents up to almost $1 in the last month. It's back down to 58 cents right now. So I'd consider that a pullback or a good dip. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on Crypto.com. Very bullish. I use the Visa card all the time, and it's done me well. And then of course we got Webull. Oh, so BlockFi, I didn't really talk about that. BlockFi is it's a lending platform. So effectively, you put your money on here or currency on here. You buy some crypto, put your crypto on here. You can transfer right into it, and then they lend out that crypto on the back end, and you gain interest. So if you had, let's just say, some Bitcoin in here, and it was earning X percentage, I forget what it is in CRO right now, but if you had 10,000, if you had 1 Bitcoin, and you were earning 9%, you would have $400 more in Bitcoin per year, but you'd be getting it in Bitcoin. So you'd actually be gaining Satoshis. So that means that in 1 year, if Bitcoin keeps doing 200%, then this would be 200% more in actuality. And then, of course, you got Webull. You sign up for Webull. I think you get 3 stocks. And then if you do a deposit of like $100 or something like that, then you get another stock or something like that. So Webull is for stocks. If you do crypto in Webull, no, you do not own the crypto. You are only trading or tracking the asset. You do not own your crypto. So if you want to transfer in and out of Webull with your crypto, just know you're not going to be able to do it. You will have to sell your crypto in Webull and then rebuy it elsewhere. All right, I want to get those out of the way. And then a couple of things I just wanted to briefly talk about. This is something I was Googling the things I wanted to talk about just to see what Google said. But excuse me. Oh, that was a heavy yawn. I learned once something called the Wall Street rule of thumb. Oh, that just woke up the dog. He's like staring at me now, like what's going on? I learned once. So I used to work for a company. I don't know how much I'm. Who cares? We used to say the Wall Street rule of thumb was whatever your age is how much you should have in safe investments. And I shouldn't even call them investments, in safe opportunity buys, basically. So let's just say it's life insurance, mutual fund, or not mutual funds, what do they call it? Tax, municipal bonds. Yeah, there you go. Things like that. What's another one? Annuities. Things that would be more lower yield, much safer. Whatever your age is, that's the percentage of your portfolio that should be in those assets. So effectively, I just turned 30 years old. If I have $100,000, which I don't, I'm going to be fully transparent on this channel. I'm not rich. This is hopefully a guide and me showing like real people my process of how I'm getting there. But I will say I have increased my money quite a bit in the last year thanks to crypto, which is nice. So basically, I just turned 30 years old. If I have $100,000, that would mean that I would put $30,000 into a safe asset. So if I'm having $30,000 here, that means I could have 70,000 over here to kind of play with in more risky stuff. In the more risky stuff, you would be looking at Bitcoin, precious metals, stocks, mutual funds, real estate, anything like that, any collectibles, certain things that some people don't even call investment grade, you would still put over here. It's the more risky stuff. Then as you get older, that starts to weigh differently. So that's the Wall Street rule of thumb. This is saying a little bit different. This is saying by the time you're 30, if you have $5,000 per year job, you should have $55,000 saved. It's effectively saying that you should be able to live 1 year without, going or having to work. Just writing a quick note. Bear with me. All right. So once I learned the Wall Street rule of thumb, I had this test or whatever that I took that kind of helped me realize my risk level also, but I can't give that out because it's proprietary, whatever it's called, to that company. But basically, that's one good way. So if I were to listen to that Wall Street rule of thumb, then effectively I'm on the 70-30 risk tolerance chart. It'd be 70% risky, 30% safe. However, I know that's not the case for me. So how do you figure out how you manage your risk or how risk adverse you are? For me, it was a lot of trial and error, to be honest with you. But the way I would do it, aside from that test that I can't give you guys, but I will figure out how to get a test like it or break it down differently and then share that with you in a 5 to 10 minute video another time. But basically, a good way is to talk to people who are in your circle who really know you. Pick 5 friends, 5 family members who you really talk to a lot, and ask them how risky they think you are. If I were to talk to my family members and I was like, hey, how risky do you think I am? All of them would be like, you're one of the most risky people I know. Especially when it comes to money, because I could care less if I was unemployed or had a job or had an income or didn't have an income, because my main focus is generational wealth. I don't care how I get there, but as long as I see what I'm doing is somewhat getting me towards generational wealth and it is working with my passions or making me find my passions and helping my mentality and skills, I'm going to go for it. That being said, it basically means I'm not going to work at a remedial job learning skills that aren't going to take me to generational wealth just so I can learn some skills to make someone else rich. Stupid. Anyway, so my actual risk tolerance is 90-10. I'm 90% risky, 10% safe, about 95% risky, 5% safe. I think my portfolio represents a 100-0 risk right now tolerance. But every year I reevaluate my portfolio, and that's another thing. As you figure out your risk tolerances, it's good to chime in with your portfolios. I do this mostly myself. I do have a financial advisor. Well, he's not. I have an agent, and then I have financial advisor friends who I talk with about this stuff. But I manage most of it myself just because I like to. But every month I check in with my allocations, and every year I will readjust them. Being that the year is starting, I will be readjusting them this coming year or in the next few months. I actually have started the planning process, obviously, a couple months ago. But that's that will help you gauge. Wow, Lucid at 37. Holy cannoli, that is a drop from where it was a few days ago. That could be a good pullback to pick up some. Anyways, as you're checking in with your risk portfolio or with your portfolio, you'll start to get a feel of how your feelings feel as you're looking at these things. So I realized that when I had too much cash, I didn't like it because I was missing out on opportunities as far as different gains and all that stuff. And then when I had too little cash, I didn't like it because I missed on opportunities as far as dip buys and everything like that. So I'm starting to get better and better as far in relation to what that means to me. My analysis up to this point is that I'm 90-10 as far as if I have 10 grand, I don't mind having only a grand in cash and the rest of it in invested. So I only got like 5 more minutes before hopping off of here. If you want to drop a comment in the chat, feel free to drop a comment in the chat. I'm going to stop rambling on about these basic things. Just want to go over those couple of things with you. Those I will be making videos on, but those will be posted and you can kind of watch them at your own leisure. Let's see. What's the market doing? What's the market doing? Let's see my watch list. Whoa. Maine. Man, everything I picked so far right now is down. Six Flags is up. Virgin Galactic is up. So I'm not in Six Flags. I am looking at it though. Not that I plan on going there anytime soon. But I mean, I grew up going to Six Flags. I'm from Jersey, so I went to Six Flags quite a bit, and I don't see people not going to Six Flags anytime soon. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at this one to see if it's a good entry or when is a good entry. Got 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. Just gonna kind of check on some of these stocks, see what's going on in the market. Let's see. Let's look at Lucid real quick because that's one that I did swing trade last week, and it is down like $10 from that. So I got on 1 minute. What are you doing? Man, you can see it gapped last night. Filled in that gap for the most part. Now it's coming back up. Okay, so it looks like it's going up towards VWAP. It's holding above the moving average. What moving average do I have this set to? 5-day moving average. Okay, that's not bad. So yeah, the thing is right now everything is kind of still trying to find its way after those big pullbacks, and with EV specifically. We're getting into I've noticed kind of a EV battle that, number one, when Tesla drops, it seems like most other EVs drop, and number two, Neo Day is coming up, and Rivian just came into the market, and Lucid with this pullback, I'm seeing a lot of buying pressure coming back in, especially here. That was selling pressure. Just kidding. What was the one I was just looking at? MicroStrategy. That's what I wanted to say. So, as you can see, MicroStrategy is not a heavily traded stock. But a lot of people who are these talking heads out there will say if you want exposure to crypto or exposure to Bitcoin, but you don't want to actually own Bitcoin, you can just buy some MicroStrategy, and they're not really wrong. I mean, Michael Saylor just keeps buying. Oh yeah, there it is. They just bought 82 million worth of Bitcoin. On the dip, yeah, he just bought some more Bitcoin. I think it averaged at like 57,000. Yeah, averaging 57,000 per Bitcoin. They're now at like 29 averaged in. Does it say on here? So yeah, when I was reading it, it was about the same. It was like 49,000 or something. So it looks like the average is high. However, it's hard to find. Like, come on, you got to find $82 million worth of Bitcoin. It's not. You're not just going onto an exchange and buying a few Bitcoin or a Bitcoin. So some exchanges don't. They're not carrying this much. Are you kidding me? A lot of exchanges. No exchanges. I don't know. Check my math on that. What exchange is holding the most Bitcoin? Where does it say his average is? I think his average is like $29,000. I'm not going to sit here and waste time looking for it, but it's about that. So I am bullish on MicroStrategy, needless to say. All right. Well, this is another one I'm bullish on, and I will leave you with this right here because I'm going to get up out of here. There's nothing more that I can really provide of value in the last even couple of minutes other than me just rambling on. So I will give you guys a couple minutes of your time back. I appreciate you watching. If you haven't like the video, leave a chat, subscribe, comment, channel, all that fun stuff. Thank you for hanging out with me. Appreciate y'all. And see you in the next one on Monday.